All right. Good morning, everybody. It is 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Friday, the 31st of July. This is the first episode of Coffee and Comic Reviews with Nick the Comic Book Nerd. So I appreciate everybody who's going to be on here. Give a wave, give a like. Every episode, I'm going to show you one of my coffee mugs. I have a whole bunch of them, so they're usually gifted to me. My brother and his girlfriend know how much I like to kind of like collect these mugs and stuff, so there'll be a different one each week for as long as possible, and then we'll repeat. But so if you saw my Instagram story, I didn't get through all my books last night. I got through like 10 of them. I read a lot, and I read a lot of good books. What we ended up doing was we're going to go over everything. So like I said, it's going to be 2 reviews. I buy my books bi-weekly. If you watched my live stream yesterday, I buy my books bi-weekly. So I bought new books yesterday. I'm going to give you my first review on my pick of the week from last week, and then I'm going to give you my pick of the week from this week based off of what I bought yesterday, even though I know it's Thursday and Friday. In 2 weeks, the show will go back to normal, and it'll go Wednesday, Thursday. All right? So I think we're just going to dive on in. Hope everybody's having a good morning. I know it's super early, but hey, I have a feeling that my video from yesterday, Nick's Picks, I have a feeling it's not going to show up on YouTube. I don't know why. I think I backspaced out of something too soon, or I think I messed it up, but that's all right. All right, so pick of the week from, let me just look at the date. My pick of the week from July 22nd. We're going to go with a Marvel book. I think it's going to be kind of one of the bigger picks for everybody. It's going to be Daredevil 21. Liked this read a lot. And honestly, it all started with the cover. I think this cover is incredible. I know everybody wanted this one. I know there isn't a variant, if I remember correctly. So yesterday, if you watched, I was saying how I was nervous that I didn't want to miss that I wanted this one and not the variant. But so this is my first pick. Last week's July 22nd pick of the week, Daredevil 21. I think it was an easy choice. I liked Empire too. I didn't get to read Detective yet, so Daredevil is a simple choice. It started with the cover. It opens up where the battle in Hell's Kitchen is over. Daredevil, Cole North, and Kingpin were all fighting the Owsley family and trying to just get rid of crime on Hell's Kitchen. And at the end of the fight and everything, it was on his mask again. And at the end of the fight, all he had on was his mask. And he decided he's going to give himself in, and he wants Cole North to take him in. Cole North was like, you just saved a ton of people. There's no reason for you to go in. Like, you did a good thing today. But at the end of the day, this whole series started where Daredevil killed somebody on accident. He wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. He was kind of out of his mind. So he feels that he needs to go and be arrested for murder, which is fair. And being a man of the law, he wants it to go down properly. The city itself looked at Wilson Fisk as a hero for fighting and defending their city. And they were like chanting his name and everything. And then by the end of the book, like there's some artwork. I'm not going to go through the artwork with everybody. Make it a little bit different, you know. But through the end of the book, he when Daredevil finally goes to court, it says like down with the devil. People are like chanting signs. They find out he murdered somebody. Like it's kind of sick. On the way, so Cole North cuffs Matt Murdock, and on the way there, he gets cut off by who other than Foggy Nelson. And Foggy comes up with an idea that he wants to give to the prosecutors. And what he says is, because of the recent law in one of the older books where Daredevil came in as a witness and they can use superheroes as witnesses, technically you have an identity because you're being claimed as that person. So when he came up as Daredevil, Daredevil counts as a person, not only Matt Murdock. Same thing if you used another hero. So he said, you're not going to get tried as Matt Murdock, you're going to get tried as Daredevil. And technically they can't take off your mask, you can stay safe and keep the people you love safe. And what happens is Daredevil goes home before he goes to a court in the morning. And who does he see besides Spider-Man, who already broke into his apartment? And Spider-Man said to him, I told you I'd be back if you ever put that suit on again. So Daredevil fully suits up, and he looks at Spider-Man, and he like threatens him. And he tells him, you don't want to fight, and Spider-Man kind of says, like, he starts walking towards him, and Daredevil gets his senses, and he's like, oh man, his heart rate is shooting up, his blood pressure is spiking, he's gonna end up fighting me. And all he does is look up, and he jumps up and he says, I'm gonna be back for you. So the threat ends. Matt obviously talks to himself in his head the whole time. And then what happens is there's a character, I think his name is Ben Hutchinson. He was he's a part of the prosecution team that Matt used to work for. I mean, I know he was a defendant, but they used to work together alongside and stuff. So Ben and Foggy end up talking about the deal that's going to go down. And he ends up talking about there wasn't fighting in this one at all. He ends up saying, like, we want him to be tried as a hero, but Matt doesn't know this until he hears it from Ben, not from Foggy. And how it goes down is Ben says, I don't like this idea. I just want to know that there's a man behind that mask. And right then and there, Daredevil takes off his mask and he shows he's Matt Murdock. And this guy, Ben, gets so angry and frustrated. And he's like, you used to work here. We used to work together. You've put people away. And you've put your people that you've taken down as Daredevil away as Matt Murdock. And he thinks it's really not fair. And all he does is he puts his mask back on. And instantly he orders arrest for the murder, for murdering somebody on Matt Murdock as like the corrections officers come in. So it looks like he's going to go to trial next week. And the other cool thing, and maybe I will show you this part. Hold on. There was a lot of good artwork in this. Let's see. I already have it taped shut. As I read, I beg and board right away. I'm just showing you the last page. So if you look here, it looks really good on both of these. That's Iron Man's mask with devil horns. So I wonder what's going to come. I wonder if like witnesses are going to come across as like the Avengers and stuff and bring people in. I bet you Spider-Man comes back in and he's going to end up testifying in some way. So that's the thing. When they ordered that these superheroes could become witnesses, they're going to be able to help each other out. They're going to be able to hurt each other a lot too, I think. But at the end of the day, I have a feeling that somehow Tony's going to get involved. But I thought that was a sick mask. I thought that was a really cool idea. Whoever came up with that, real genius. But so that's my first review. Daredevil 21, waiting for book 22. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into my pick from this week. So this week was a little hard because I think I read 4 books from this week already. So I picked one of them, and I still have a handful to go, but I think overall I made a good decision. So it was hard not to choose Empire 3. If you read Empire 3, though, I'll give you a quick little review on it, even though it wasn't my pick of the week. Empire 3 is leading to some crazy stuff, I think, in Empire 4. Empire 4 is going to be nuts because of what's down in Empire 3. Empire 3, not a lot happened. A lot was planned. So that's why I didn't choose Empire 3, because I have a feeling next week, in 2 weeks, you guys are going to see me do my review on Empire 4 and possibly 5. So my pick of the week for this week is Mercy 4. Like this book a lot. I've liked this story a lot. I like the artwork a lot. I like how dark it is. I'm a big fan of like the snowy backgrounds and everything. I'm a big fan of like the old-fashioned dress-up. I think it's a very cool book. I think it's a very cool series. If you haven't been reading this, so this is Helene. And this is a girl, like, she basically adopted. She just, like, took her over in a way. So we're starting to learn more and more about the powers that these people have. So at the end of book 3, the guy that follows Helene around, I don't remember his name right now. Of course, I didn't write it down. Gets captured by these people, and they want, like, the monster inside of him, because they have, like, these things that come out of them. It's weird, but it's so cool, and the art is amazing. He gets captured by these people, and they start, like, hurting him so that she can feel it. And now Helene's, like, she needs to feed off of other people. She needs to, like, eat somebody or part of somebody, and it kills them, but it keeps her in her normal human state rather than going to, like, her creature state, we'll call it, because they don't have a name for them yet. That I know of, at least. It doesn't seem like they've given a name in these books. They end up So she's like, oh, he needs me, and she has the daughter with her, and she keeps calling her mom throughout the whole story, and she just like they've been together for like a couple of days, it seems like. um and finally, like, Helene, she needs, because she feels the other man in pain, and she knows she isn't strong enough without eating somebody, she has to make it to him quickly. And they find somebody along the way, and it's very hard for her to move, and she gets very tempted the whole time to basically like eat her daughter, and she doesn't want to do that. But I think the whole point was that the old man says by the end of the book, like, this girl was meant to be a sacrifice, but she's such a little kid, and Helene needs to eat so much. When she eats a lot of food, she literally gets like the meat sweats, but she eats so much at once, so she needs a lot in order to stay in her human form and stay normal, because then she can control her powers more. You learn in this book that she controls a lot of what's going on. Um, like I said, because she's basically hangry. That's the best way to put it. And the girl keeps like saying, "Mommy, are you all right?" And she just keeps screaming like, "I'm not your mom." And she's usually very nice to this girl, and it just like, it's super not fair to the little girl. But she ends up not eating the little girl in the end. She ends up being able to make it through without it. Um, she ends up getting to the old man, but she comes as like this massive monster form of, I'll show you a picture. I do have to do the pictures, I think. As this massive form of the creature that's inside of her. Probably get his name too. I think it's like Gregor. And throughout this book, yeah, so here you go, over here. So she becomes this massive, massive fighting machine. And throughout this book, she sees like, it's almost like her spirit, and it's telling her like, it's like the angel on your shoulder and the devil on your shoulder. The angel in her is the human. The devil in her is this like creature thing, and it's telling her like, oh, we need to eat. You need to remember. We need to survive like this. Otherwise, you're gonna, you're basically gonna self-destruct because you haven't eaten anybody and because you haven't, kept us in control. And it's like a homeostatic state. So she ends up fighting. She ends up winning, and she gets ridiculously tired. And it's like she suddenly wakes up somewhere she doesn't remember where she is, and she's not with the old man. She's not with her daughter. It's like she was saved by some old lover she used to have, and he knows all about her. And it's funny because in this book, a few times I thought like, oh, are we looking at what's going on, or is this like in her head? But all of a sudden she's like hugging and kissing this guy she used to know, and he tells her like, it's okay, I know what you are and everything. I know what you've done in this town. And she eventually starts realizing that behind him she sees her like evil spirit thing, like the devil on her, and it tells her like, oh, you're hungry, you have to eat him. And she really doesn't want to hurt this man, and she starts to cry, and you know that all of a sudden the next page you flip, and there it is, she ended up killing him. So, and she's not happy about that at all. She's very frustrated. She didn't want to do that. It's just the only way she can stay surviving, because she barely ate to get it into that fight. And the bigger of a creature she becomes, the more energy it uses for her. So she's very strong. She's very strong willpowered. This little like devil in her is starting to really form and like really hurt her in the end, and it's going to start hurting the people around her. But I think it was a great read. Like I said, I love the artwork and everything. I'm trying to think if there was anything else in here that was like key. All of these main characters have stayed alive still. It's a good book. It's a good read. I want to say there's going to be 7 or 8 of these. I hope there's more after that, but who knows. But yeah, so these were my 2 reads of the week. So last week's read, definitely get your hands on this. I know probably everybody already read it though. So, and then Mercy. My 2 reads of the week. This was a cool show. I was a little bit tired last night. I feel like I wrote a good review on Daredevil and not so good a review on Mercy, but I'll get better at these reviews. I never really do these reviews. The last time we were doing reviews was on like Nintendo, and that's been a long time. My comic book reviews on Nintendo are so quick anyways, but yeah. Before we go, I'll just show you one more thing, I guess. So I think I mentioned that I've been handwriting my comic book list. So what happens is I go and I take this list with me, cross over it off as I go. DC, Marvel, Indie. blue, red, black to the proper colors. And I write everything down that I didn't get or that didn't come out yet, because I just keep the list moving. And then when I'm done reading these books, I just add it to there. So I think that's a cool way to do it. Other than that, I should be catching up on a lot of subs again today. Hope you guys like my video. I don't like that YouTube Live isn't posting these videos right away. It's taking them a while. I don't understand that. But it's just another platform thing. You know, we can't win them all, unfortunately. But thanks so much for joining. Hope you enjoyed Nick's Coffee and Comic Reviews, episode 1 at 8 o'clock in the morning. Be prepared. I know a lot of people are at work and everything too, but we'll get through it. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to do this on a Thursday at 6 a.m. So be there and we'll have some fun. Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy your day.